Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode here at WILDMAN Lives. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now on today's episode, I'm going to be giving you an update about my injury. So if you haven't seen my last videos, I suffered a distal bicep tendon rupture, and that was the first video that I put out. The second video that I put out was the post-surgery video. And so now I'm here to give you another update about the injury. So here's what's going on. Once I had the surgery, then I was placed into a hard cast for about a week. And then I got it taken off by the doctor's office, by my orthopedic surgeon. They examined it to make sure that it was healing properly. And then I went to physical therapy and I was given a brace where I was able to take it off or put it back on as need be. And I was given certain positions that I needed to rest my arm in. So that was about a month ago when that happened. And let me tell you something, I was in a lot of pain. That brace that I was in had my hand in a supinated position, which is good because they didn't want my hand to be frozen like this, right? Because then the therapist would have to work on supinating my hand back into the proper position, because that's what that tendon is supposed to do. This tendon's job is to make sure that I can supinate things. And that entire process hurt tremendously. Having my hand like that and having to sleep in the brace and having to walk around on it, and it's made of like plastic, so I was able to bobble my hand when I walk, and it was putting a lot of pressure on my tricep, and it was incredibly painful. I was feeling needles, numbness, like spasms in my arm, and just pain all the time. I had to be on some heavy-duty painkillers during that entire time. But eventually, week after week, the pain started to die down, and more of my therapists started to work on getting my arm to go from this position, 90 degrees, to full extension. And as you can see, now I can even supinate at full extension. But in the beginning, I couldn't. I was trying to extend my arm, and I had to go from here, and it would be super painful. Kind of felt like my tendon was gonna pop off my elbow again, is what it felt like. But we worked and worked and worked until eventually it got down to here. And so that's where we are right now. I just had a doctor's appointment with my ortho. He examined my arm and he determined that I had the okay to not wear the brace anymore and to actually use my arm and kind of build some strength back just by doing some motion like this, like doing exercises where I'm going full range of motion and doing 3 sets of 30 like that, and also supination as well. So I'm going to be doing my home exercises that were given to me by my physical therapist, and I'm going to try to build my tendon back up to at least being able to withstand the weight of my arm and natural movement. Currently right now, I'm not feeling as much pain as before. Every once in a while, within the hour, I get incredible needle pain, right where the scar is at. I get it feels like somebody's dabbing me with like I'm getting a tattoo, almost like somebody's dabbing a needle into my arm. And that's the only painful part. It's pretty tolerable though. And I really can't describe what I'm doing different. Sometimes I'm doing my physical therapy exercises and it'll come on. Sometimes I'm not wearing my brace and I'm in relaxing state and it just comes on. And other times I'm in the brace trying to avoid the tingles and it just comes on. So I really don't know what's causing it. I think it's just my nerves are waking up. And it used to be from my elbow all the way up to my wrist is where I was feeling the pain. And it was tremendous. I'm telling you, that was one of the worst pains I've ever been in my life. And I didn't have that same issue on this arm when I suffered the same injury and the same recovery process. This seemed a lot easier. So this arm, I don't know, my nerves are just all out of whack this time around. But the doctor did say that it was normal, ranges of some people feel nothing around this time, or some people feel a tremendous amount of pain. As long as it's pain within the nerve paths, the doctor says you're in the normal category, so don't worry about it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing now about another month of just kind of body weight stuff with my arm. I'm going to be taking, implements and using my wrist and just trying to reactivate that bicep tendon again. And then once that's done, then we move into the actual strengthening of the bicep, which I can't wait for, because then that means I can start getting back into my heavy lifting routine again. Really appreciate everybody following the channel. Hopefully, if you've suffered a similar injury like mine, you're getting a lot of use from these videos. If you have shoulder, knee, hip, or lower back problems and you had to get surgery as a result, I really feel for you, because the bicep tendon, of all injuries I could have sustained, if they were like, you're gonna get an injury and no matter what, you're gonna have to get surgery on that injury, which ligament would you pick? I would be picking my bicep tendon, because it really is truly the easiest bicep to recover from once you get the surgery. All you have to do is just put in the work and kind of endure the process the best of your ability. So even though I'm experiencing more pain than average on this arm, I'm still happy the fact that I'm able to recover fully from it one day, because I've done it with this arm. And it'll be even more bulletproof than it was before because of the way that they fixed it. They button hooked it with a titanium pin into the bone so that that won't happen again. But if you suffered one of those other problems that I just mentioned, I really feel for you, because it tends to be that when you get surgery on your knee, hip, lower back, or shoulder, you know, something happens within that shoulder or within that joint again, and it ends up becoming more problematic. So fortunately for me, this injury is very non-problematic, meaning just because I hurt my bicep here doesn't necessarily mean that something else in my elbow is going to go wrong and I'm going to have more problems in my elbow. So in this case, I feel very fortunate, and I contribute most of my injury-free stuff. Like I concentrate a lot on making sure my shoulders, my hips, my knees, and my lower back is balanced, and I'm using correct form when I'm lifting heavy weights. And that has prevented me from getting injuries. And it took a long time for me to do that. And unfortunately in strongman, the most common injury is bicep tears, whether it's from the short head or the long head, because you're lifting implements and it's very bicep intensive, the way things are awkwardly shaped. So it's kind of the nature of the sport. And again, I'd rather take this kind of surgery than other surgeries. So I feel very grateful for that. Really appreciate everybody watching my channel, and I will see you next time. Thank you.